Our next presenter is going to share about water conservation strategies on a diversified farm. And we are running a bit behind schedule, so I'm not sure if Robert was able to join us, but Jody Johnson-Maynard graciously offered to step into his place.
I'm still here, so I can do it. I just have to run to class in about 10 minutes.
Okay, we are so grateful.
Fine. So my name is Robert Heinse. I'm a hopeless academic. I'm a soil and water scientist with the University of Idaho. And this 5-minute spiel is about sort of the soil team that has worked on the same project that Soren Newman introduced earlier. And the team members are Jody Johnson-Maynard, Tad Wheeler, and Danny Baldwin. Danny Baldwin is a student on this project. He's been doing a lot of field work on the soil stewards farm that you see the entrance there for. Tad Wheeler is an instructor and a wizard when it comes to installing irrigation systems and testing them out. And that's kind of what I want to talk about as well. And Jody Johnson-Maynard is a soil scientist, pedologist, and water scientist, and all-around knowledgeable person when it comes to water use on plants. So the reason we're talking about water on farms, and we've had a couple of talks already about water rights and how much water you may withdraw for crop production, of course, is that plants are, shall we say, rather wasteful when it comes to the use of water. So a lot of the water that is being taken up by plants is not actually used for photosynthesis, for making biomass for the things that we eat or that are part of the root system or leaf structure of plants, but a lot of it just goes into the atmosphere. Might help with cooling of canopy, might help with nutrient transport to it, but there's a lot of waste water occurring in crop production. And to replenish the amount of water that the plant needs requires a couple of things. It requires to know how much a particular crop might use. It might require matching that to the actual development stage of the plant. If you think about a small seedling is going to need much less water than a mature established plant. It also means matching it to atmospheric conditions. So as we're in August, we need to apply more water to the plant because the atmospheric demand for that wasteful water is much higher than it is in early spring. And we also have to match it to the soil conditions. And that's kind of what we were working on in the soil stewards farm to have it as a demonstration site to do two things. One is to characterize soil heterogeneity, so variability in soils and how that affects your resupply of water to plants, how that affects how you irrigate plants, when and how often, and also how to do this with technology in terms of how do you apply the water, and also as in how do you know how much water you've actually applied? So to have some kind of speedometer to give you an idea of how well you're doing. And part of the motivation for that was that we assumed that irrigated agriculture is not something that was commonly done on the Palouse, meaning that the expertise to do this wasn't necessarily there, and there wasn't a lot of experience with irrigation systems. So we set out to install a variety of irrigation systems as a demonstration site to kind of highlight what is possible with irrigation systems. And the other paradigm that went into it was also that a lot of beginning farmers especially tend to over-apply water. We're always err on the side of caution and err on the side of caution on the side of applying too much water, which wastes water, but also wastes a lot of nutrients in the system. So there's a lot of room for optimization in terms of applying just the right amount of water at the right period of time. And as the slides have gone past here, you've seen some of the soil effects that might be there in terms of restrictive layers that create locally waterlogged conditions, which are not good for plant growth, or conditions to where you have root channels, preferential flow paths, or little sand pockets that would channel water away from your root zone and would lead to leaching of nutrients from a particular root zone. So matching how much water you apply, when, how often, and how much to the soil heterogeneity, to the actual crop demand, and having a system that can apply it in the way that you intended, and to have a monitoring system that tells you how well am I doing and allows you to fine adjust how well you're doing is really important. And that was my spiel.
Thank
Here
you,
you have it.
Robert. In all of these pictures, you're showing some of the different systems being tested at the Soil Stewards Farm.
Yes.
We will definitely let participants know next time there is an on-farm event to show how these are operating.